Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan Podcast. Hoping everyone is doing well out there today. How you doing, Irene?
Cold.
Cold? Yeah, it is cold here in Japan. As we were saying before, it went from extremely hot to extremely cold. Not the nice, comfy weather in between. I don't know why. We didn't get it.
No. Well, we didn't get the
Today,
message.
today we have a very special guest. The sexy Andy Decodes of Alien8UK. How you
Hello,
doing? How you doing, Andy?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. So, for our listeners out there who may not be aware of who you are, how would you introduce yourself and tell them about Alienate UK?
Oh, wow. So I started off just going out doing live investigations, and during lockdown, and then started the YouTube channel, everything else, and then just got into by default, just ended up doing podcasts. It was never planned. It was never intentional. It just came about, and then 3 years down the line, I'm still doing it. The name's changed about 5,000 times, and I finally got to a name which I think is fitting for what it is I'm doing. Even though I do, as you say, ghost hunting and paranormal, alien UFOs and all that has always been at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the name of it. It's just easy to say, easy to remember. So it's just Alien8UK, and that was it. It just that was only, I'd say, the beginning of this year that came up with that. I can explain why that happened if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I have a prop that I can show you. So this is how it all started. Oops. So I ended up buying this off someone I know. I don't know if you can see it.
The alien, yeah.
It's like an alien in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
And literally from the day of getting that, it just went, it took off from there. So that was where the Alien 8 came from.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tattoo that I've got on my hand, that's a logo for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just gone from there.
So, is it all paranormal or mostly like aliens for you?
Anything and everything. Do conspiracy stuff, like Mandela effect, government cover-ups, all different things. Whatever anyone wants to talk about. Hallucinogenics, like, and just everything. There's nothing really we hold back on when it comes to like the weird and the strange. But yeah, that's it.
We are the same way. We'll talk about anything and everything, especially here in
Yeah.
Japan. We feel like we have a little bit of everything, anyways.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I was speaking to someone about doing this podcast the other day, and it's like, over here, we don't hear a lot about what goes on in Japan, like, and over that side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's because, I don't know whether you guys like keep it to yourselves, not keep it, but keep it like close knit, local to what's going on around you, or it just doesn't get sent over to us.
Mostly doesn't get out.
it's one of those things here where people just don't talk about.
Yeah.
So that's why we decided to make a podcast. I live in Nagasaki, which is in the bottom of Japan.
Yeah.
More on the left side of the country, in the very bottom. Irene is in Tokyo, so she's more in the middle on the right hand side of the island, I guess.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when I first got here, I was like, I'm gonna dig deep into the paranormal. I can't wait to join a paranormal team. Go to all the paranormal investigations, book all the haunted locations. And I started researching, and I'm like, I can't find anything. So I finally found the most beautiful woman in Japan, Irene.
Yeah.
The person that said that, she was waiting for someone else to pop in. I was like, Irene, I'm talking about you. I met her through social media. And she's like, "Yep, you found a paranormal community. Congratulations."
Person.
So we're
That's
like,
why I'm sitting here laughing my guts out
talk
because
about it.
the
We
way
will.
she's
We'll
explaining
be the
is so
strange
funny.
ones.
It's hilarious the way
Yeah.
it happened. And she goes, "Well, welcome to the paranormal community." She goes, "What?" He says, "You're it?" I go, "Yeah, I'm it." And she goes, "Yeah, no, you're
That's
kidding."
top.
I go,
I
"Yeah."
can
And
tell
she goes,
everyone I became friends with the whole paranormal community in Japan.
Wow.
Technically, I did what I set out to do.
Now, how long did it take?
Uh, I'm trying to think of how long it took for me to finally found her. But I was digging deep, and I finally found her through like social media with her Paranormal
Yeah.
Japan, and I'm like, "I'm in Japan too," and she's like, "Yeah, it's just me here in Tokyo now. You so
"So it's
Well,
just
at
the
least,
two of us, right?"
yeah.
It's like, yeah, people do paranormal investigation. Yeah, people do go haunted places here, but they don't really want you to know who they are. Like Amanda will
Right.
tell you, they're in masks, or they'll change their voices, or else they'll cover up their faces.
Yeah.
They're all hiding out on TikTok because they know nobody watches them on Facebook, on TikTok, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if they come on Facebook, their bosses could be looking, or their co-workers could be looking, and they'll all of a sudden will find a pink slip in their mailbox, right? As we go.
Ah,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So yeah, it's like, do not talk about paranormal. Do not even speak about paranormal or anything like that, or even UFOs. Yeah,
Really?
that's a big no-no. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you get if you're a pilot, if you're a commercial pilot, you see something in the sky, you report it, you don't keep your mouth about it. You're doing death work till they hand you, well, it's time for you to retire.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it's like here. And with us doing paranormal, we don't really talk about it with other people, what we do. Only in our community we talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But outside our community, she don't talk about what she sees. I don't talk about what I see, and we just learn to keep our mouth shut.
Yeah.
someone was
Oh,
asking me if someone because I was telling a ghost story about here in Japan, and supposedly the spirit still walks around Japan to this day, and they asked me, well, have is there any stories of people who encountered it? I'm like, not that they're gonna publicly admit
No,
that they came across it. It's nothing that is ever spoken of. It's one of those things where
mhm,
they see the spirit, they're not gonna talk about it.
no.
right.
Or they're gonna say, "Ah, it's nothing."
Yeah.
Like,
Just shrug it
and
off.
yeah, like urban legends are the same thing, right? We most of it's basically on truth of what happened in the past,
Yeah.
but they call it a story only, and they don't really take advantage of the truth that came out of the story, because basically a lot of urban legends in Japan comes from really basic, really frightening ghost stories, but it's mostly true, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they just don't want, you don't
Yeah.
say anything.
You don't say anything.
No.
So, what's the biggest paranormal thing there? Is it like cryptids, UFOs, ghost sightings?
Well, it's everything all in it's all, it's like when you're making a salad, it's like everything all put together.
Right.
You got everything here. You got cryptids. You have spirits. You have angry spirits. You have crazy spirits. You have dark spirits. You have everything all in the mix. And then you have UFOs. And then you have well, anything that you think of, it happens. You
Yeah.
you get crazy cryptids, and it's like legends that if you live near a train station, the tiki will come out and take you and kill you and bring you home to bring it to their sanctity. And it was a legend off of a woman who was tied to a train track. Her boyfriend didn't want her anymore, so he decided to get rid of her. So he did that, and so she comes back and she avenges other people women too.
Oh,
And yeah, it's like, you want to see eventual woman, you come to Japan, women were thrown down um a well, they were thrown in the ocean, they were, yeah, you got many ways to kill a person, right? Yeah,
oh, yeah.
it's, yeah, it's just really creepy stuff happens, right? Creepy legends happen here, so you get those things, and you get your UFO sightings too. If there's an earthquake, if it's a really bad earthquake, everyone looks up at the sky and say, "Okay, is there a UFO around?" And 90% of the time, there's a UFO that hovers around
Ah,
after an earthquake.
yeah.
Yeah, and we get them
That.
pretty frequently here. I get more earthquakes here than she does in her area. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we got the plate here. So I'm holding up the furniture. We're on the podcast. Yeah, I'm good. We're good. This is like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Carry on.
we're crazy fine. Yeah, we're fine. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, crazy creepy. Oh, the suicide forest. Yeah, I want to
Yes.
go in September. If I can, I'm gonna go in September. I want to go to the Suicide Forest in September, so I'm planning a trip there. So we'll
You're
see.
not
That's
going
on
on
my
your own,
list
are
of
you?
that's on my list
Nah,
of places I have to go to on
nah,
there.
nah. I'm not going on my own. If I can, I'm gonna say, Amanda, we're going together. You got it.
It's somewhere you don't want to go alone, just because
Yeah.
it's gonna mess with you. And I knew someone who went there, and he's not gifted or anything. He said that he went with a group of people. They drove hours to go there.
Yeah.
I guess you want to camp there,
Yeah.
and they made it there. They started walking in the forest. He said the second I stepped into the forest, I heard a low pitched hum, just a low pitched humming noise. No one else heard it at the time. It was low. It was low, so I didn't think anything. He said he didn't think anything of
Yeah.
it. So then he started walking more into the forest,
Mhm.
and he said that the more he was walking in, the louder and louder it was getting, to the
Mhm.
point where 20 minutes in, it was so deafening, and he was the only one who could hear it, that he told everyone, "We have to go back. We have to go back." It was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, when he was leaving the forest, it started to gradually go down, and once he stepped out of the forest, completely done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what
Uh.
is it? What do you think it is about the forest that's
There's some theories that's on the ley line, and if you believe in the ley line
yeah.
theory,
Yeah, yeah.
then
Yeah.
it goes with that. I don't know. It could have been, since it draws that kind of energy in, or even if you're not, it still makes you that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you enter that part of the forest, I will say that part of the forest.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a ritual there that happened, that someone, went there to social media terms, relieve their pain,
Yeah.
and did a ritual to, be joined so they're not alone. And that is the one thing Irene will tell you here in Japan, is the suicidal spirits want other people to join them in that way.
Yeah.
Ah.
I went to several places, and I lived in a place where there's a lot of suicide victims or suicide happenings, and they want to take you with them. I
Yeah.
even went to a graveyard, Aoyama graveyard. It's the biggest graveyard in Tokyo, and we stopped at one crypt, and he said, "You have to stay with me." I said, "Why?" He goes, "I want you to die with me, so you can keep me company." So he wanted me to unalive myself so I can be with him in the afterlife. And I said, "Yeah, sorry, can't do that."
Yeah.
It,
That's
it's it. I live on the more suicide victims here. Okay, more people commit suicide on my side than on her side, and my side is kind of like, you got to be careful who you want to talk to,
yeah.
which spirits you want to be, you want to, well, talk to, not talk, just talk to, interact with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can't, you have to pick and choose very carefully, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get the ones who will try to unalive you, and you will spend eternity with them. That's for damn sure, right?
Yeah.
So
Why do you?
it's
Yeah. Why do you think the suicides are so high then in Japan?
well, you could tell her.
Part
Go
of
ahead.
it is the religion. This is
Right.
mostly a Buddhist country, and they have that belief that if you're not happy in this life, you can end it and start again in the next life.
Ah, got you. Yeah.
There's
And
not a lot of therapists here either, so because people are like, why don't they seek mental help? I mean, where I am, it's not a thing. It's
no,
barely a thing where Irene is. I mean, Irene's in Tokyo, so she has a little bit. It's a little bit different there,
Yeah.
yes,
but she might have a couple there. But other than that, I mean, there's not really therapists or psychologists here to
no,
talk to.
No.
no. And there's no like you can dial a number and you can say help me. There's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
like that here either. There's no
Nothing.
place like that here. No. So you're on your own, right?
Mm, yeah.
And and, and if you do ask help, it's kind of like shunned because you ask help, right?
Yeah.
You can't leave. It's usually left in the family for the family to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're really not you're really not in a good situation if you're in a dark place in this country.
Right.
And
Got you.
s- so you will find a lot of places that are really haunted in Tokyo because of that. Um, there are train stations that people have tried to jump in front of a train station, and they're haunted, right? So yeah, you get really crazy places in Tokyo that can be disturbing to walk around in. And after 3 o'clock in the morning, the last train is at 3 o'clock, so you do not hang around that area in that time.
Right. Hmm.
They're just yeah, but then when it comes to that, they say, "Hey, we want to go there, right?"
Yeah. Because this is one of the questions that I got asked last night.
Yeah.
Was if you, I can't. It's one of the guys that's in the chat now. I think it was that guy, baby with a laser.
Mhm.
He said if you went out on an investigation and you come face to face with something, would you go back? But oh no, and the other question was if you heard a story about a particular place, oh, where would you not want to go because you've heard a story about a particular place? But I was like, if I've heard a story about a particular place, that'll make me want to go. That'll
I was
make
gonna
me
say, there's
want to go.
never enough a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an adverse effect, isn't it? It makes you want to go there and check it out.
Yeah. You see,
So
there are places that are very dangerous here that Amanda and I we talk about it. We know.
yeah,
There are places that you should never go, even if how good you are, even how professional you are, quote unquote, in the paranormal. You would never go.
yeah,
Um, I would go there in the afternoon. I won't go there at nighttime because I'd be kicked out of the place because they locked the doors at 9 o'clock. They locked the park at 9 o'clock, so you can't go there. There are
right, yeah,
places that will take you and you won't find anybody. So they will take your whole mass and whatever, and then if they go looking for you in the forest, you're not gonna find it.
right,
Or the beach. After the war, they had one beach that had soldiers go on the beach and they were fighting. And after I think it was World War II, and that place became a beach and it became a park.
yeah,
Most parks are really haunted in Japan, right? And Amanda will tell you the truth. And you can't go there after 9 o'clock
wow,
because they'll take you with them. And you can forget about finding something to bury because there ain't going to be anything left to bury you because there's no body.
wow, and that's common knowledge. I take it.
Yeah. So, we talk about places that we can go and places that we shouldn't go and places that we'll
Yeah,
never go, right?
yeah,
Even
yeah,
how even how even how much we know, even our knowledge is so good, we just won't go there, even if we were
yeah,
paid to. uh, You know,
It is not accepted here in Japan.
no,
This is why there is actually no paranormal teams here in Japan
no.
besides like me and Irene,
you
who's
you
willing to
too.
go out and investigate.
Yeah.
There is Yeah, there's not really what is refreshing, I do think, here is we don't have people here claiming to be demonologists. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not ratting on all demonologists when I say this, but when you're in the paranormal field enough, you realize people take an online course claiming to be a demonologist. We don't have that here.
No,
Right. Yeah.
But we
but then you
do,
get
unfortunately,
yeah.
if you are in a haunted location, and Irene can tell you, if your house is haunted, no one else is coming out to help you.
No,
No.
I learned that the hard way. Packed up my
Yeah.
bags and left.
Oh,
That
really?
was yeah, really. After 20 years, help on social media, on Facebook, help. Nobody help. Okay, my husband's okay. We're moving. Pack up your bags. We bought a house, this house. And he said we're moving, so we did that. We
Yeah.
packed up our bags and we moved. I mean, yeah, after asking so many people from so many areas and from America right up to the UK, I just nah. Okay, there's nobody here that's gonna help us. And who's gonna be wanting to take on a huge project of a suicide condominium with 144 suites? Right? Nah, that's just too much to worry about.
Wow.
So the best thing for us to do is pick up and leave.
Yeah.
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 So in some places where we do deal with paranormal, we do deal with investigations. There are some places we just have to pick up your bags and leave.
Yeah. I
You
suppose, like you
can't.
said, it's different in different cultures, isn't it?
Yeah,
And what
and
you
you
can and
just
can't do.
you. I mean, there's no way that you can live there. So the best thing to do is pack your bags and leave. Right? But not
Yeah.
everybody's in a situation where they have enough money to do that. Right? But yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to life or death, yeah, you take your family and you run.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But
I
The
get that.
most the most the shrine might do is send you sea salt that their priest prayed over.
yeah, and
They
Yeah.
that's
don't
it.
use sage here. It's sea salt.
Yeah,
Right. Hmm. At least
and
it's something. I suppose it's a step, isn't it?
yeah, I mean that's
Unfortunately,
about
if you don't know how to get rid of it, it might be like a quick solution, but obviously it's just gonna
Yeah.
come back
all
sooner or later.
I had one that came back every 6 years and came after me every 6 years, and every 6 years I'd be sicker than a doornail. And I said, okay, we gotta move, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah. It just gets too much.
yeah,
So did yeah. So were you saying about cryptids before? Do you have like any Bigfoot type creatures in Japan?
go
We
ahead,
do.
Amanda.
He's in Hiroshima. They call it a hibagon. He
Yeah.
is only 5 foot tall, though.
Right.
Like anytime he's been seen, he's only been seen as 5 foot tall. Now we did
Mhm.
have a Bigfoot researcher in America on the podcast once, and he said that sounds like an adolescent. And I was like, I don't know. We don't have anyone here willing to go out to research them. So
Yeah.
anytime I meet anyone who is a Bigfoot or a cryptid researcher, I always encourage them to come to Japan. We have thousands. No one is willing to take the time to research them. Any information you find out about any cryptid or Hibagon, I promise you, is going to be new and breakthrough, and everyone's going to treat it as huge because no one even wants to find out any information on it.
Hmm.
It'll be your research, and you could
Yeah,
own
I'm like,
it.
you're going to have absolutely no competition. If you want competition, you have to bring your own competition. You're going to have to find a friend and be like, we're
you've
going to go
got
to Japan.
like you've got like free roaming and do whatever you want and
Hmm.
Yeah, because no one is going to be competing with you on that. We don't have that. That's what I tell people. I'm like, maybe it is an adolescent that everyone kept seeing, or maybe it's a full adult. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah.
No one here knows because people see it and they tend to like go the other way. Like something as they see a spirit, like, yep, nope, we're not messing with it. We're not going to find out it's friendly. I mean, there has never been any reports of it hurting anyone. So
no.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably like other Bigfoots where it's just like leave me alone. I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about like? Oh, sorry. Go on.
I think they're kind of scared, like they are with spirits. Like this is my path. That's your path. That's your street. That's my street. I'll walk on my street. You walk on your street. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go
So,
ahead.
it's like skinwalkers or anything like that. Is there anything like going back in can't speak, like tradition, like with
We
the
don't have.
Japanese culture?
We don't have
Skin.
any skinwalkers or mimics here. However, there are a bunch of different cryptids here that can, or spirits that can transform themselves, usually into a beautiful woman,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of lure you to wherever.
Mm-hmm.
You see beautiful women in Japan, they're
They
kind of wave you over like,
like to
this is
come.
come here in Japan.
Yeah.
Doing this. It might be some kind of cryptid trying to get you. So
Ignore it.
you're like,
And
go
no,
for it.
if you're a
Walk
guy,
away.
if you're a guy, you're deep shit, right? If you're a woman,
Yeah.
yeah, you have a chance to run away, right, Amanda? But if you're a guy, yeah, good luck.
Wow.
Depends
It's
what it
good.
is though. There are some that prefer the victims to be children than women, because they said children are the easiest to get,
Yeah,
then women, then men.
yeah,
But there's
Right.
obviously some that can transform themselves to beautiful women, and that's how they're gonna get you.
yeah.
Yeah. So what about like mermaids? Because obviously Japan's made up of loads of different islands. So you've got a lot of there's a lot there's a lot of water, like seeing the ocean. And that is there many.
We
Or
have a
have you
lot.
heard of many mermaid
We have,
sightings?
we have a lot of different sea creatures here.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of different also cryptids that live in the waters too. If you're actually into the Loch Ness monster, Japan has two of them.
Oh.
There's supposed to be one a few hours away from me in a lake, and then there's also one in the very north in another lake up there. They only vary in size and slightly one is greener and the other one is more brown.
Right. Okay. Do you know the names of them?
Issy and Tessie,
Missy.
because they wanted the ending to be, because when I first found it, they knew of the Loch Ness monster, and it said it looks like they look like the Loch Ness monster, so they were like, with the Loch Ness monster being called Nessie, they wanted the ending to also be with the SIE, so that's why we
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
Issy and uh Tessie up top.
Right. Oh, cool.
But you
So
won't find any information on it either on Google because, yeah,
I mean,
information.
you still find like what lake they are and the
Yeah,
size.
yeah, but that's about it.
because Google don't want to tell you anything. And as far as history is concerned about certain things, good luck in finding that too, because you're not gonna find it either.
Yeah. So do
I
you
don't really
think it's
know if they bless the house with sea salt here. I know you do the. I know when they go to a funeral before you enter your house, they give you a bag of the blessed sea salt. And you're
Yeah,
supposed to what, throw it over your shoulder
throw
before
it
you
on
enter your
both
house
shoulders and your legs, and
in
if you have
case
a little
something
bit,
followed you home.
you put it on your head. We have a Cecil pyramid that we put in our entrance hall, and that prevents any negative energy from coming in your front door.
okay.
And if you're really cranky about it, you put one in every windowsill too, north, south, east, west of your house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So you got all angles covered.
yeah,
But they also put. I know a lot of households put dragons north south, dragon figurines north south east west.
yeah. If
Yeah, dragons are means protection here. So
yeah,
Ah, right, okay. Yeah.
you always have to have a dragon in your house. I've even have two little dragon statues in my house,
Yeah.
and we
Ah,
put one during the facing east and facing west. Uh,
I mean, I can't pronounce this.
what?
He's probably spelt it wrong.
That's kind of long. Kumo gummy. I got it. It becomes that spirits becomes objects and haunted objects. Kumo.
Yeah, it is. So
Kami.
since we have like thousands here, it might be something you
Kami
might
is a
not know the name
god.
of.
Tsuku.
It's a type of yokai in
Mm-hmm.
Japan folklore that are objects that have developed a spirit or soul over time.
Tsuku it means to attach. Kumo is like the cloud, and Kami is a god. So it's a
Right.
god attachment of a cloudy attachment of a god. I think that's how you translate in English.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I
yeah,
mean, this is I've heard of this though too, so I'm sure you have. They're often forgotten, unused household items that come to life on their 100th birthday.
yeah.
Oh,
Because after 100 days or 100, it depends. After you're dead 100 days, you become a god.
right.
So you are, so you are a hierarchy of a spirit now, and you control the heavens and earth.
Yeah. Ah, got you.
Yeah, it's taboo here, like she was saying earlier.
Yeah,
If you're a pilot who saw a UFO, you're either going to get terminated or you're just going to be doing paperwork for the rest of your career.
and then they make you quit your job afterwards.
Yeah.
So they think you're mentally unstable. That's why we don't talk about what we do.
You can't here or you will be considered insane.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
you'll be in the cuckoo club, right?
Which is funny because we have talked to some people who write books or whatever, has made a living writing books off of Japanese urban legends.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
don't actually consider themselves in a paranormal. They just consider themselves storytellers. Like the urban
yeah.
legends here, they
Yeah.
just consider them good stories. They
Stories.
like a good
Yeah. Yeah.
story. They think it's more of a life lesson. So they look at us and they actually think we're crazy for being like, hey, want to be friends, you want to be our podcast,
Yeah.
you want to talk about the urban legends here. They're like, we don't mess with paranormal. It's you crazy girls. You do that. I just tell the stories of the urban legend. That's not us.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is
It's just,
funny.
yeah. So do you think, I don't know if you can answer this, but do you think it's a government that's controlling all this? Like, no,
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think even the government's scared of it.
really?
Yeah, that's basically how they see us. They're just like, yeah, these girls are crazy. We're reaching out, talking about ghosts. I talk about urban legends, not ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So if you ever get a chance, there's a place that I want to take you. It's in the mountains. Whole bunch of samurai warriors died fighting, and it's a real
They
creepy
manifest
place.
you.
It's a really creepy, cool place. You'd love it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's next on my list is Japan. It's got to
Yeah.
be.
Well, we'll take you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll take you around, and we'll take you to the most interesting places ever. She's got a lot of interesting places where she lives. I mean, uh, like after the atomic bomb, and when the first ship came from Europe, came to Japan. They came to Nagasaki.
Yeah.
They got a lot of weird haunted places there.
Yeah.
And it's like it gives you the like you want to see the hair on your back crawl up. You go to Nagasaki, you go there. Yeah, because they've got a lot of historical old places that are really creepy and crazy. And you gotta have a strong stomach to go there, because either you're gonna get sick, you're gonna wolf your cookies, or you're gonna go ooh, like, like
Really?
1 and 2, right? Yeah. So Nagasaki has it's old. It's historical. It's got a lot of bloodshed. It's got a lot of um. You got atomic bomb. You got everything else that went on there, and so you have a lot of history that's all mixed. And you got crucifixions there in Nagasaki. You got a lot of
Oh,
yeah, yeah. During summer Edo area, if you like the first religious group went from Spain to Nagasaki, they brought Christianity, and because the samurai warriors didn't like it because
yeah,
everyone else was Buddhist, so and to make a long story short, they crucified all the Christians and the priests. And yeah, there some of the priests' bones are in the church in Nagasaki. I've been to it too.
yeah.
It's creepy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where the first crucifixion happened in Nagasaki too. And after that, it happened other places in Japan too. I think that was the first place that happened. And I think
Yeah,
everywhere else happened too. After Kyoto happened in, and I bet other areas that we don't know of happened also. So I'm just trying to figure out where
yeah,
the Christian root and what happened afterwards, and where that belief of crucifying Christians happened, and I want to know more about it and where else did it happen, because this didn't happen in two places like in Nagasaki and Kyoto. I bet it happened in a lot more other places, but
oh
it's not.
yeah,
It's not written down. You're not gonna find anything, but I have to find it. I'm on a mission to find it.
yeah,
So it's haunted too. Those
yeah,
places are really haunted too, and they're really creepy haunted. So yeah, there's a lot of paranormal activity that happened with there too. So you just have to find it, because there aren't any memoirs, there aren't any manuscripts, right, Amanda? There aren't
We don't
anything
have.
there's
I
no
don't know what the
knowledge.
I don't know what the UK version would be, but I know the American version would be,
micro
the
microfiche.
Department of Battle Records. There's not that here. You can't
No,
go to the library and pull up
no.
information on a property. It's not really a thing.
if
No,
if they had it, they shredded it, right? If they
Yeah,
Because they don't want anyone to know about what horrible things happened, right?
yeah,
So they
yeah,
want to keep it as in the past. But heck, even a simple paranormal investigator or a simple clairvoyant would be able to see what happened there. She can't really hide it, right? But they say, "Oh no, 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 no! It didn't ever happen. Never happened. It's a good piece of land. You'll enjoy this land. You can build your house on this land." You say, "Oh yeah, right."
yeah. So do you think though that they've kept all these documents and they've archived it and put it somewhere safe
they might have.
rather than just burning it or shredding it?
I mean, nothing public for us, but who knows what the government secretly has, though, especially some of
Yeah,
these places.
Or even house owners, right? The house owners would probably know, because a lot of things that happen on their lands or their ancestors' lands, right? So yeah, they probably know, but they're not going to come out and tell you, right?
no, not yet, not a chance. But
No,
do you have any like built? I don't know any buildings over there that are just no one seems to know what they're being used for. Whether I don't mean like government buildings, but just like you get a random building out in the middle of nowhere that seems pretty active, but no one knows exactly what it's being used for.
as far as paranormal or as far as gov- government,
Oh,
what are we talking about? We're talking about
bit of everything.
You have a building that looks abandoned, but then you might see an occasional light on.
Yeah, or like people going to and from, like blacked out like cars and vehicles and what have you. I suppose
I
more
have
government related than paranormal.
I have never seen that. Have you?
Well, maybe because you're also in Tokyo, so it'd be harder to have that. I think there is actually one I do pass many times. I've looked at it because it looks abandoned. You never see a car in front of it. So I keep
Yeah,
thinking, if I walked up to it, I wonder if I'd get in trouble. Just trying because
yeah,
it looks abandoned. Like I said, yeah, I never see a car there. It looks abandoned. But then occasionally at night we drive by, and I'll see like one light on in this whole entire big building, and I'm like,
yeah,
why? Where? Why? Who? Because there's still no car. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh, it's someone. And it's not even like a light that's like it might be a light like across the hall from one of the open windows.
yeah.
That
So
makes
it's not
sense.
like one at the front. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm curious.
No, I was just thinking because of how taboo the paranormal and everything is in Japan. Is there those facilities that if they're keeping this subject taboo, is there like government agencies that are watching what people are doing or what people are talking about?
I haven't heard one. Have you?
There might be. I mean, because there is conspiracy theory in America that they have their own special unit for the paranormal. It has to be the best of the best. Like just
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're Black Ops or a SEAL doesn't mean you're good enough to be on this team. They
yeah,
pick like you have to be these, I guess, born to do this. So best of the Navy SEALs, Black Ops, all that.
Yeah.
I Japan might have something similar, especially because there's more legends of cryptids over here. There might be. They're just obviously never going to tell us.
No.
no.
But we have
Mm,
a lot of um if you like weird things happening every um I think springtime
yeah,
when the fishing boat vessels come out and they go fishing off the Pacific Ocean. There's a lot of vessels that come up empty, and the vessels are perfectly in shape, but
yeah,
there's no crew, and it becomes a big police investigation. So the police is out there, and the Coast Guard is out there bringing the vessels up on the land, and they're trying to figure out what happened. There's nothing. There's no notes. There's when you there's no records left on board of those ships. So yeah, it's just empty, empty, empty. It's like something just took them all and just
yeah.
disappeared. The whole crew, the whole fishing crew is all gone, and they don't know what happened to them.
Mm,
It happens every springtime. I don't know why it's a seasonal thing, but yeah, when you watch the news, the local news will tell you, "Oh yeah, well, it's just really weird." Yeah, and Japan
Yeah, I was
has a
gonna say
triangle.
Japan does have our own triangle in the north. I
Yeah,
don't know about the UK,
yeah,
but Japan has we have our own Bermuda Triangle up north there.
yeah,
For
yeah,
some reason, and North Japan is the weirdest place paranormal wise. They
yeah,
have their own weird. Like I have my own weird thing going down here. Irene has something completely different in Tokyo. Then up north, it has some more stranger things. Has their own Bermuda Triangle
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
which a lot of them come up empty in.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy, crazy things going up north.
yeah.
Yeah.
I, I don't think there's anything in the UK that I know of. I've not
Hmm.
heard of anything. The nearest like triangles like that are going to be over in the States. Either you got the Bridgewater Triangle and
Hmm.
obviously Bermuda,
Hmm.
but I don't know of any nearer like
Well,
where I
that's
am.
really weird when a fishing vessel goes in the ocean, right, just to go fishing, and they come up empty, right? It's kind of weird. I mean, you don't hear about that much, I don't think, in the UK, but you hear a lot about it in certain areas, and it's just like, where'd they go, right? Where'd they go?
Yeah, well that's it. Because you'd think spring is going to be the calmest water, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
it's like spring going into summer. So And if there's a few vessels and that going out, surely they're all gonna hit. If it is bad water, they're all going to be hitting it. So you're going to have the other crew off the different boats telling the saying what happened, or they must have radioed through or something.
Yeah. But yeah, and you'd think that the fishing vessels would be broken down, or there'd be a hole in the hull, but there isn't
But it's
anything
not like
that's
scratched or anything.
no,
Yeah, there's no damage.
no, and it becomes a here everything becomes a uh uh uh, uh police investigation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
But do you think
and
that they do that to like cover tracks? Maybe they really know what is going on, and they're doing that to make it look like something's being
I
investigated
don't,
about it.
I don't,
Do you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
even, I don't even
There
think
could
they.
be. I know there are theories that they're doing experiments, so that could be it too.
Yeah,
Obviously, no, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, how strange."
Yeah,
yeah,
We don't
weird, eh?
know, as they secretly did an experiment. Who knows?
yeah. Yeah.
I
To
think it's
answer
just
this, we're actually very interested in talking to people over to know about other paranormal, but her and I, being in Japan, and no one else really knowing about Japanese
yeah,
paranormal, and us obviously always being in it, wanting to know more about Japanese paranormal, that's why we started Spooky Japan, so
yeah.
we can educate people. I mean, originally I was trying to do like TikTok to teach people about it, but it's just easier to do it this way so
Yeah.
people like Andy can ask us questions because it just kind of fills in gaps that maybe we're not explaining or you want to know more about.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like when you talk about stuff afterwards, you always think, "Oh, I forgot to mention this, or I forgot to
Yeah.
mention that." Or there's just a little bit of detail that can change
Mhm.
whatever it is you're talking about. Just changes it completely and gives you a
And
more bigger picture of it all.
Japan is one of those places where you don't hear a lot of what crazy stuff. Hi, Brett. Of what crazy stuff goes on. You don't hear about paranormal. You don't hear about the ghost stories. You don't hear about anything, right?
Yeah,
So it's one of those places where nobody ever talks about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to hear anything about it. So it's just one of those places. Like Japan is just one of them. You got Thailand, you have Indonesia, you have Java. um I know a lot of people from there who does paranormal, and they're very skittish about who they make friends with because they don't want anyone to make fun of them, right? So
yeah,
they're part of my friends and my friend group, and yeah, they say that they don't let nobody talks about it. And Indonesia is probably like the one of the hardest countries to do anything paranormal because it's mostly you've got lots of different religions there, right? You got Muslims, you got
yeah.
everything else there, and they don't really like talking about it, right?
Mm,
No more than you hear a person from Egypt talking about paranormal, right?
yeah, yeah,
Are you kidding? Nah. So that's where I'm trying to find a hole, find a knack where I can find somebody. But yeah, it's almost impossible to find anybody in
yeah,
in Southeast Asia who will talk about
So
paranormal.
I can't say this. Hachi Shakusama.
hmm It
That is
means.
the Japanese version of Slender Man. It is but she is an 8-foot woman.
hmm
She does mostly go after kids because she says they're the easiest targets.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
next target after that would be women. But but she will basically once she takes a liking to a kid, they she will stop at nothing to get them. She will stalk them the rest of their lives. You basically the only way to really get rid of her, you can't get rid of her. You actually have to leave Japan and never return because she'll wait
Yeah.
for you.
wow,
She'll wait for you to return.
Yeah.
yeah,
And she'll make a weird clicking noise. And one
Yeah.
time, she can mimic voices of your family. And she's done that before. And she's even called someone pretending to be their grandmother, asking them to come back to Japan.
Mhm.
And they brought her up, like, well, is it even safe with her? And then also they heard her clicking noise that she makes.
Right. Hmm.
That's a really old urban legend too.
Yeah.
That's so
Supposedly it
old.
was recently seen though, and the kid had to leave,
Yeah.
live with family in America.
Yeah.
Wow. See, it's like because I've looked at like paranormal across Europe as well, and there's literally nothing. Like you said, a lot of it's just folklore, and that's
Mhm.
it. That's all you get. There's not much UFO sightings. There's no like active ghost accounts or anything like that. It's all like like the fairy tale stuff, like Little Red
Mhm.
Riding Hood and Hansel and Gretel, and it's all kind of like that based.
Mhm.
There just doesn't seem to be any active goings on with all these different creatures or cryptids.
You gotta find it. You gotta really find it. You gotta dig
Yeah.
deep in finding it, because they're not gonna come out and bite you in the ear, right? So you gotta really look for it.
Yeah.
It The sad part about it is that nobody really does anything about cryptids, right? There's no there's no groups. I haven't found a European group on cryptids. There isn't
No.
anybody that does it. So like, yeah, look,
Because
but
I was
there
just
is
sorry, go on.
go on it. But there is one person that I know that does it, and maybe I'll get you in touch with them.
Yeah, yeah. But
Because
it's
I
like,
know.
yeah. I was just going to say, it's like the UK and the US. You've got, well, it's more the US. You've got all these Bigfoot groups like
Yeah,
Sasquatch and that, and then you've got the Yowie in Australia, Yeti up in like the Himalayas over
yeah.
that way, and that that's pretty much it. You got the Wild Man stroke, Ache Man
Hmm.
in the UK,
Yeah,
and that seems to be it.
yeah. Like, this country's really weird because you got a lot of animal cryptids. You got a lot of sea cryptids. You got a lot of mountain cryptids. And you got own, like,
Yeah,
pick your choice, right? Like, we were really gonna do not a podcast. We were gonna do a session, like a video session on cryptids. But then we decided, which ones do we do, right? Like,
Oh, we
yeah,
have
yeah,
the problem is we have thousands, but it might be like, this is where it's found, this is where it's located.
yeah,
On to the next one.
yeah.
yeah. I'm like,
Because
oh,
I have heard of like the water cryptids in Japan, of these
mm-hmm,
like Pokemon type creatures.
mm-hmm,
There's one, I don't know the name of it, and I was like, it's like a giant lily pad as a head, and it's got on like a hat on its head, and it
yeah.
has to have water in it all the time, otherwise it starts losing its powers and becomes ill. And it's all like 2, 3 foot tall or something. I cannot remember the name of it.
Kappa, kappa,
Is that what it
kappa.
is?
Yeah, he lives in fresh water.
Yeah,
Apparently, he still exists in fresh water where the water's clean in the in the um in the canals in the countryside.
right.
They have families, they have children, they have grandma, grandpa, and they got everybody else there.
Hmm. Oh, and the other one was the trying to remember because it was a few years ago when I heard this story of a fox. It has more than
Kitsune,
one tail.
kitsune.
Well, they can't have up to
The
nine
nine tail.
tails.
Yeah,
It is the kitsune, which is
kitsune.
very big here.
Yeah,
Basically, the more tails they have, the more old and powerful they are.
yeah.
Yes.
Up to nine tails.
But isn't that like a shapeshifter? It can change into like a woman or a child or
They
something. Is that the one?
However, they're meant to help you. They actually serve and work for the Inari shrines.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
They don't go out and they don't go out and hurt you, you give them an offering of fried tofu,
Yeah.
and you ask them to help you with certain things, and then if you do that, if you get help, they'll help you. If you don't, well, then you don't. But yeah,
Right.
and then there in certain shrines, like little shrines, you can find foxes with two tails running around.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard about that.
Yeah, my son caught one.
Oh, really?
He's strange like us. So,
So, do you think that's just a genetic thing?
for us, it is because my mother was strange, and I got my gifts a little bit late, but yeah, my kids are all strange.
All right.
So like everyone's here is strange, and my husband's saying, "This is a weird family." I said, "Shh, be careful. You could be heard. They can hear you." He goes, "Mm."
So to answer this, we don't actually have vampires. The closest thing we have to a vampire is a Nurona,
Oni,
Ona.
and
It is
what?
a snake-like woman who feasts off of human blood. So that'd be
Oh
the
yeah,
closest
Oh,
we have, yeah. Because obviously, with how they do burials here in Japan, we can't have like the Western thought of the vampires because they can't. We don't have coffins for them to sleep in, so they wouldn't be sleeping in coffins.
and
right.
they don't bury their dead.
Did they not?
No, they don't bury their dead.
Oh,
They're everyone, including a pet, has to be cremated. So they're all
right.
cremated to the bone, and they're put in clay pots. Even your pet is put
Right.
in a clay pot. Yeah,
Wow.
and that gets put in a marble casing. Even your pet's put in a marble casing in a cemetery that's above ground cemetery, because you can't bury anybody because the land is so expensive and it's so precious. They only have above ground cemeteries.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why I
didn't
said
know that.
yeah,
But you
it's
share it
crazy
with your
haunted.
family.
Yeah, it's crazy haunted too.
Like you share it with the family you have the last name of.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So the last name would be up front, and then behind it is everyone, obviously with like the first name, when they were born, when they die. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
all in that little pot area.
And
Wow.
yeah, because it's above ground, it's like New Orleans. It's creepy haunted, right? So
Yeah.
you get one family crypt here, and you got another family crypt there, and the air is so thick and so heavy, you could cut it with a knife. Let's put it that way.
Really.
Yeah, uh, I I've taken my friends to one. Amanda and our friends, I've taken our friends to one. It's the most biggest cemetery in Tokyo, and it's the most creepy. It's the most haunted cemetery in Tokyo. Like, it freaked me. I didn't get scared, but I got scared in a way because I couldn't find the exit because it's so big,
Yeah.
and that's what freaked me out. And, oh man, yeah. You want to talk about the creek farm to go up? You go there. You can walk around. They have the most beautiful cherry blossom trees. It's like a park. It's like a huge park. They got beautiful benches you can sit down. You can
Yeah.
look at the cherry blossom trees in the springtime. But man, if you're into what we're into, yeah. I mean, I had a couple of kids. I had a couple of people following me home, and my son got really pissed off because they come home with us. And I told him you can't come home, right? But they follow you like they don't care. Like in Japan, you got crystals, you got everything else. You can be loaded, you can be protected to the hill, and they'll still follow you home, right? So it's like one of those things, right? This is
Yeah.
Japan. This is Japan. This is
I
not like
thought it was
anywhere
weird
else.
over here.
Yeah, this is Japan, right? And yeah, rules don't exist like everywhere else, Amanda. Like they just don't. Whatever you're taught over there, you can forget about it because it doesn't work here.
Right.
And Amanda will tell you, like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna talk to you, I'm not gonna bother you. Yeah, I'm gonna go bye bye.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we have
So
to.
the answer to this is because I moved to Nagasaki. I was looking for people in the paranormal here in Japan. And I found out that the only paranormal community is Irene. So technically, I did what I set out to do, befriended the paranormal community of Japan. And I found her. She's like, "Congrats, you found a whole entire community of Japan paranormal. Here I am." So we decided, since a lot of people, we're into paranormal Japan. We learned about being in Japan is one thing I also learned about, just because with the history with a lot of the things that made so much sense when I visited things like the Inari Shrine, looking
Hmm.
into the Kitsune. So this way, knowing the backstories, because every statue there has a meaning. So if you're a tourist, you don't know about it, you're just gonna be like, "Oh, this is an interesting statue." But me
Yeah.
now knowing the history, I'm like, "Okay, this makes sense to me." And I really
Right.
can tell you, they don't just have they don't look random, but they all have a meaning.
Right. Hmm.
So with us being here in Japan and not a lot of other people in the world who say I don't know anything about paranormal Japan, that's why we started. Let's just do Spooky Japan podcast.
Yeah,
We can educate people on all things paranormal
yeah,
here in Japan. This way, you can at least say
Yeah.
I learned something.
yeah. And
Yeah.
everything about that's treasured is either a snake, a dragon, a cat, uh, 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 a monkey are the most treasured creatures in Japan, and a
Yeah.
dog. So those are the five most treasured
Interesting
creatures in
topic, yeah.
Japan. So you can't do anything bad with either one of them, because if you
Right.
do, you will go to hell,
Yeah.
quote unquote. Okay, yeah, it's just one of those things. You don't touch those treasured creatures of Japan. And a snake, you don't touch a snake either, because the snake it brings luck. Even though I don't know how it can, because sorry about that. I'm not into
I guess
I'm
you
not
don't
into
like him.
those. Yeah, I'm not into those slithering things, no thanks. And yeah, it's just one of those things that you don't touch snakes in Japan, and you don't touch if you see a warning. Um, uh, Amanda, what do you call kumo? Um, Spiders. You don't kill a spider in the morning.
Right.
There you go. I asked
They
her.
leave mostly here. They leave you alone anyways. That's what
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we have people in the United States are freaking out because the Juro spider, I guess, recently made its way to the states. I have dozens outside my building. They leave you alone.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
They're
they're pretty
docile.
big.
They leave you alone. It's one of those things where you just
Yeah.
they'll leave you alone. But yeah,
So are these big, these spiders?
they
Like
yeah
tarantulas?
they can get big.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
They
like daddy
can
long legs.
yeah.
Right.
Just think, and that's what I tell people. That's also what I told people in America. I'm like, just think of it as a colorful daddy long leg. Like, well, we're
Yeah.
told to poisonous. So are daddy long legs, but their fangs are not big enough to
Yeah.
get to your skin to get that poison into you. So I'm like, even if it does bite you, it's poison's not gonna get into you.
No.
So
They got huge insects in Japan. My husband's into these insects. Okay, you gotta leave the house. You gotta go outside. I'm saying,
Uh,
I got this backyard. I'm gonna get this thing. He goes, no, you gotta leave this house because my wife's gonna kill you. And they go, oh my god. I said,
So we both
yeah,
actually do ghost hunt in our area. It's different here. We cannot book a private location, so we have
yeah,
to go to like public ones, or as Irene says, you can just sneak into a cemetery. It's one of those things where if you can kind of sneak into that's where you go.
Yeah.
I wish we could book places, but that's not a thing here in Japan. So
No, it's like you're on your own if you want to go. There's one place I want to go to. It's a cave where 700 samurai warriors unalive themselves. I want to go to that cave. I really
Wow.
want to go to that cave. It's near my shrine, the shrine that I go to, to get cleansed, to get to get, well, because what I do is I do a lot of paranormal work. I do a lot of places, and I do a lot of places that need my help. So I do a lot of residential. So I have to get
Yeah.
cleansed every year. It's my thing that I have to do, and that area has so much paranormal. It's so haunted. And there's a cave nearby with 700 soldiers, samurai soldiers, unalive themselves in the cave. And I want to go to that cave. That's one of the things I want to go to. And my husband said, "You want to go?" I go, it's fenced off, right? Everything's all fenced off in Japan, right?
Yeah.
You can't get in there because they're afraid of anybody. They're afraid of something happening to you if you go in there and you create a problem for them, for the police department. So that's why they fence it all off. And they said, "Do not enter," right? And they
Yeah.
said the rocks on the ceiling are gonna fall down off the cave, so it's very dangerous. Just don't breaking rocks on the ceiling. Who you talking to? You're not talking to a bunch of stupid idiots here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the
we
haunted places. The other one
not
is,
that people here will admit to, but I do see later looking at stats. We do have some, but like as Irene can tell you, not that anyone's going to admit they're into ghosts. So it's one
oh
of the
yeah,
we do have more people in like other countries that listen, and especially with us being in Japan, we do have
yeah.
some other people in Asian countries that listen to us just to see what's going on
Yeah.
in Japan.
It, it's just like they'll make excuses, right? Why you can't enter an area.
Yeah. Yeah. The most stupid excuse you can think of.
Like the rocks are gonna fall off, are gonna fall. The cave is not sturdy enough, so nobody can venture in there. I go, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
Right?
They just don't want you going anywhere, really.
Yeah, they're just afraid of going in there themselves, right? So they say, "You want to go? No, I'm not going in. You want to go? No."
So, do you have
And here
many?
we are, just saying, "Yeah, we'll go."
Yeah. Do you get? I was saying before about buildings. Do you have many derelict buildings, like deserted, that you could go to?
There are hotels that are haunted too.
Yeah.
Almost everything in Japan is haunted, though. It's
Oh
such an
yeah,
old country that might
oh
not be
yeah.
the
She
building,
said
it's
in
the
a
land. That's
nutshell.
one thing we can say. I've I was an investigator before I came here, so I've always been an investigator. Before this, we've been doing this podcast since March.
Yeah, March.
So yeah, we've been doing. I know Irene. She does virtual. You do virtual ones for
Mm-hmm.
people. She's a
Mm-hmm.
clairvoyant, so she can do virtual ones with people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, cool.
So it's just one of those. I can do it through the phone. I can see and I can get rid of whatever's there who doesn't want it there. So I can
Yeah.
do that. I can do it virtually. I, there, if I can't do it, I'll say I can't do it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm very honest about it. But yeah, I've helped a lot of people in a lot of houses, and who are crying in tears. And okay, I'll help you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just one of those things because there are very few people who will go in there, who will get rid of, or who will help. Either I
Yeah.
help you or I get rid of you. Like pick your choice. That's what I usually say. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there are fair, there are a lot of people who will investigate and say, "Well, you got this there. See ya. Bye bye." And I go, "Yeah." Right,
Yeah.
Amanda? Like,
Yeah,
we helped you. Okay, we're gonna go. Bye. And I go, like, what the hell was that all about, right? Like, you gotta help these people, right? Yeah. Well, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to help them. You go, Well, how the hell are we supposed to do that? Oh, okay.
What's funny,
Okay.
Brett, is the last time I was in Osaka, I looked to stay in that hotel. Maybe I'll need to go back to Osaka and stay in that hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. But we gotta go, Brett. You gotta come and we'll go there. I'll take ya. I'll drag you there. Will you use it? Will use you as bait?
Japan,
Yeah,
though,
bait him out.
we don't have private places you can book to investigate, so it's not a
No,
pay to stay,
no,
unfortunately.
because
They're
nobody
off
wants.
limits. There's parks here that they
Yeah,
absolutely will not allow anyone to enter, after
after.
9 o'clock, or some
Yeah,
places 7 or 8. Because fun fact, it gets even in the middle of summer here at 7:30, it is completely pitch black here.
yeah.
So
Really?
that's yeah.
Even
Wow.
if you go to Hiroshima, you go to see the what was it? Trade Center, I think it was that building. It closes at 6 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and it's really friggin' just cut it out. It's really haunted. It's extremely haunted, and apparently you can hear people screaming as a bomb was dropping, and you could hear
Wow.
the town bomb dropping. You could hear the people crying and screaming because it was coming down. And you could hear it crashing down, and it's really blood curdling. You could hear the screams coming
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Can
it's one of
imagine.
the most. Yeah, that's what I said. If you don't have a hard stomach, it's the most difficult places to visit.
Yeah.
The one in Nagasaki too is the most hardest place to visit too because i- it's the museum in Nagasaki is haunted, and if you're not, you can be the most centered person in the whole wide world. You can be the most person who is the most grounded person in the whole wide world. It'll get you. It'll come after you. It'll really rip your insides out, as it did
Yeah.
to me. So,
I think
eh,
that's like that here, where they catch you trying to
yeah,
research or ghost hunt, they'll kick you out because
yeah,
they don't want. The problem is with here in Japan, with them not really having a paranormal, they don't really do anything with paranormal. Is I think it's also mostly because they're afraid they're going to upset the spirit, because they don't know what to do if a spirit gets upset. Besides, lock
yeah,
it up, lock up that area, let no one go in,
yeah,
build a shrine, hope the shrine appeases it enough to it's no
Yeah.
longer going to act malevolent towards them.
yeah,
Or even there are some temples that they're built just basically to hold the spirit in. That's what happened with that 8-foot woman, Irene, is supposedly from
yeah.
what I've been told. The reason why it's an old urban legend recently coming back now is they trapped her in a temple. They had statues north, south, east, and west. I forgot the name of the kind of statue they put there,
Mm-hmm.
but they just
We
kind
should
of
forget it.
they put whatever that statue is. They put it in the north, south, east, and west. And then they said
Mm-hmm.
one day they just found her out, and they said I think it was this one in the
Mm-hmm.
south or east, or whichever one of them was broke. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's how she escaped. One of the
Mm.
statues is broken, so she was able to escape, and that's why now she's become a known
Ah.
thing here.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
don't. Other than that, they don't know they honestly don't know what to do, because, like
Yeah.
Irene was saying earlier, no one's gonna help you. There's no one else really to call. So
No.
there's not really a thing on what to do besides we're just gonna lock up whatever is haunting and
Yeah.
don't let anyone else go in there.
Like the same thing that
Mm.
happened to my son's school. His high school is really haunted, right? It's the little girl who's 14 years old who was thrown down the well by her mother. Her mother killed her because she had that was the legitimate daughter that she had, and it's a different. It wasn't her father's. It wasn't her father. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So she threw her down the well, and that was a long time ago. It was a countryside. It was a farmland, and when that farmland got sold to developers, they had a well, and they put the people who lived in that area knew that she was haunting the people, so they trapped her in the well. They put they put prayers on the well so that she can't come out. They're made in paper, and they're written in brush writings in red ink. And so they put it on they glued it on the well. And when the developers came in who bought the land, made a high school, would you believe it? And they they removed the boards off the well. They removed everything, and they built this gymnasium in the middle of the well. In the middle, the well's in the middle of the gymnasium. She comes out. She haunts everything in the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my son was doing his doo doos in the bathroom, and she went knock knock knock, and he said, "Oh no, not doing this anymore." He ran out, and he said, "Mom, did you know my school's haunted?" I said, "Yeah, I kind of knew, because I saw her, And he goes, "Damn, why didn't you tell me?" I said, "Well, how can I tell you, right? You can't tell your kid's school's haunted, right? Nah." But most of the schools in Japan are haunted too. There's a lot of schools in Japan are haunted because they're
Yeah.
old, and a lot of creepy things happens. And you have this Hanako, you have you have Sadako, you have all these creatures, all these spirits that come out, and they're all vengeance. They're all full of vengeance, and they're all going to come after you and take a piece out of you. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just one of those places, one of those things that happens, right? And so my son hasn't been to school yet. No, quote unquote. He does everything remotely on his iPad now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Irene, we were asked, why don't you start your own ghost hunting venues tonight? I think where the problem is, we'd have to not only own a location, but I don't think
Yeah.
it'd be successful here. Besides
No.
the occasional traveler who visited Japan.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
or
think,
you know what? The people say, you know what? You should hold one of those like one of we were talking about, what was the venues that we were talking about, something like that. A Paracon, right? There'll
yeah.
be just us two.
I'm like, we could, but I'm not going to book a location. It's just going to be in Irene's kitchen. We're like, welcome to Japan Paracon. We made
Yeah, you
it.
can stuff yourself with my cooking, right?
That's what we said, because a lot of people are like, you should hold a Paracon. I'm like, unless people are actually going to travel here to Japan for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it would not be successful.
No.
No.
So, we'll invite you if you want to come. We'll have
I'll
have
go.
like
I'll
us
go.
three.
I can eat. I can eat cookies.
Oh gosh,
We
we laugh.
we do believe in that, just because Irene was saying. I mean, there's ships where crews end up missing and no one knows
Yeah.
why, and there's
Yeah,
not any just distress or anything or duress, and they can't find anything, and they're not
yeah,
finding any reports from the ship of them going into disaster. There's no communication for them to otherwise say they need help. So they're like,
Yeah.
"What's
and you think the police department is gonna come clean with that? You gotta
No.
be kidding me, right? No, not in Japan. Mm-mm.
Not anywhere. I don't think anywhere in the world. If these government officials really know what's going on, they're just going to cover themselves every single time, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're not gonna come out, and they're not gonna come clean with it either. And it's just one of those things, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if Irene. I don't know if we have a bridge people jump off the end of their life. We have people either go to the forest, or as Irene was also saying, go
Waterfall,
to the train station and jump in front of a train.
waterfall. They had a waterfall
Oh yeah,
after
they had
World
a
War.
waterfall, but not
Oh.
the
Yeah,
waterfall happened. It's nothing. It's nothing today that people go to commit suicide, but it was after Japan lost the war. They
Yeah.
were afraid that the Americans were going to come in and change their way of life and just make it more Americanized, and they didn't want that. So a group of people went to this waterfall and jumped off the waterfall to end their life.
Wow.
and that's
I've
haunted
not
too.
heard of that one.
That's haunted. Oh yeah, you don't. They don't talk about it, right, Amanda? Like even she didn't know about it.
Yeah.
They don't
That's it.
really. They don't really tell you. But you know what? In the waterfall, they have they have an elevator where you can go up and see the waterfall. In the elevator, they have a a Buddhist statue there that said praying for so many people who committed suicide by jumping off the waterfall. That's the only remembrance they have inside the
Wow.
place where you take the elevator going back down to the main floor, because the elevator takes you right up high on the waterfall, and you can climb the steps up, or you can climb the steps down to take pictures, right? And it is the most freakiest place, because I took one picture of the waterfall,
Yeah.
and it told me to take a picture here and take a picture there. So I took three pictures, and they all came out all white.
Really?
And there's no rocks, no nothing, but you could see the whole bunch of faces in the wall. You could see a whole bunch of faces all over the place. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
and yeah, it's beautiful to look at, right? Because it's so majestic. It's high off the mountain. It trickles all the way down. It's so beautiful looking. But if you look at the dark side, where I come in, yeah. I mean, I've talked to a lot of spirits on the waterfall who committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it it's daunting. It's the most freakiest feeling you've ever seen. And I saw there's another short little waterfall too, where the kids jumped off and committed suicide too, on that one, on the other side of that waterfall.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, the most of the people who committed suicide were the people, the country people who lived in that area. Mm,
Yeah.
You
Like
wouldn't
the
travel,
locals.
yeah, you wouldn't travel that far to do such a thing, right? A lot of local people who lived in the countryside would did that. So it's just a beautiful place to visit. A lot of
Yeah.
kids groups that go there for a 3 day. Elementary schools will take their children, will take the kids, the students there for a 3 day trip, and take a
Yeah.
picture in front of the waterfall. And my son always said, "Do I have to?" Like, he asked the teacher, "Do I have to?" He goes, "Yes." And she goes, "Yes, you have to." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Why not?" And he goes, like, he didn't want to tell the teacher why he didn't
Yeah.
like it,
Yeah.
but yeah, he made the most weirdest face. He goes, he made like this kind of face. Like, gee, you could have made a better face. He goes, "Are you kidding? Did you see what was behind me?" I go, "Yeah, but you could have made a better picture for the class picture." He goes, "No, I couldn't wait to get that picture taken and get the heck
Just
out of
get
there."
away. Yeah.
It's just one of those places. Yeah.
Mm.
Is it? Is there a lot of the aftermath here, Irene? I know there's the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the bombing museums,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I don't know about the aftermath.
No.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
the
think they really
museums that
want to talk
carry
about
all
it.
the aftermath, because they carried a lot of melted items that came out of certain people's houses, and they showed a lot of pictures, and they had a lot of letters that came from certain doctors who died of radiation poisoning, and the original handwritten letters that came out of there. So yeah, it's pretty. The one in Nagasaki is extremely haunted. I didn't go to the one in Hiroshima because after going to one, I just didn't have the stomach to go to another one. My son just said, "Let's go to that one." I said, "No, no."
Us.
Oh, and they will come after if you have something sore on you. Like, I had sore knees. I have bad knees. Okay, if you have any part on your body that's affected, that has issues, they'll come after that area. They'll make it hurt even more. So
Really.
yeah, like, they don't care.
Mm.
And then if you're on a bus and you look at the dome on Hiroshima is pretty high off the ground, and you could see, they said, "Uh-oh, they spotted me." And they said, "Ha ha 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 ha. I know you can see me." And yeah, you're marked. Like, yeah.
Wow.
You can just be going sightseeing, and they'll mark you like you won't believe it. Believe me, I had I had every crystal. I had tiger's eye. I had my selenite. I had my regular crystal. I had pink crystal. I had everything. I had rose crystal. I had everything I could think, and I had my obsidian. I had every single thing I could think of that I carried. And I asked all my friends in the paranormal world, what what should I carry when I go there? And I carried everything all in a big bag, and I just, yeah, like it was like a party for everything. Like all hell broke loose. That's all yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of places in Japan are like that, right, Amanda? Like they
Yeah.
don't care. They don't give a hoot whether you're protected or whether you have your bracelet on or what. Yeah, they'll come after you whether you like it or not. And
So what?
and
So I was just gonna say, why do you think it's so active in Japan? Is
Age
it?
and history.
yeah,
Yeah. And do you think it's because people don't talk about it that they kind of, suppose, the paranormal? It feels like, well, these the living are not communicating about it, so we can kind of get away with it more.
well, they build big shrine and that's it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have at it, right?
No, I know
D-
Irene was saying like the rocks and stuff don't work here. Sage rocks, they don't work here.
no.
Yeah.
But there is if you go to you can only get these in shrines.
Mhm.
These this is what mine looks like.
Amulets.
Oh yeah.
It's an amulet that
Yeah.
the it's an amulet that the priest writes a prayer. He puts it in the
Hmm.
amulet, then he prays over it, and
Yeah.
then that's why you can only get these in shrines, because they have to
Yeah.
be prayed by the priest there.
Yeah.
You cannot open because it's tied.
Yeah.
Right.
You cannot open it ever, or not.
Yeah.
It's not only going to bring you bad luck, but
Mhm.
also bring you the opposite of what you got it for. Like mine is for protection against evil. So more likely, if I open this, I'm not only am I going to get bad luck, I'm going to be
Yeah.
attracting evil. There's
Yeah.
some you can buy for health. There's
Yeah.
some you can buy for success. There's some you can buy for to help you with education. So
or or paranormal too, or if you're getting haunted, there's
yeah,
some
that's what
amulets
this
that
is
help you.
protection
Yeah.
against evil. Well, this is what
Yeah.
mine looks like, but the outsides vary. So this is what that shrines look like, and I can probably tell you that they all different shrines have different looking ones. So I can't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mine I can open up and show you. Mine has a sword, so anything bad cannot hurt you because a sword is the most guarded, protective um amulet ever. So there's my sword.
Oh.
Yeah, and it has writing on here, the shrine's
Yeah.
name on here. It's embossed in there. So, yeah, that's what I use. You put them in your wallet. You can have, you can put them in your home. Um, it's just to protect you against anything bad or anything evil, or if your place is haunted, it protects you from them coming after you in your home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously with Amanda's situation, she she's got a lot of spirits going in and out. She's got a huge portal in her house. So yeah, she has to have one of those in her
Wow.
place. Yeah.
So fun fact, John, about that. After the bombings, that's because I live in Nagasaki, so the bombing areas, both of them are not too far from me. This is also why I have a lot more cryptids now than Irene
Mhm.
would, just
Yeah.
because they think the radiation from the bombing actually created more. Like we already had a lot from the Edo period,
Yeah.
but the bombing created even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The radiation mutated a lot of things. That's what they think, but they also are just like, we're just going to keep it at that because we're not going to go research this thing.
No.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the scientists will say that, but they're not going to investigate any further than that, right?
Yeah,
They'll just say it in a paragraph, and that's about it. If you want to know more, good luck. Look for it yourself, because you ain't gonna get it from him, because he's not gonna go there.
Yeah.
Which is sad because you know it's the most interesting part of this country, right? And why did it happen? What is there out there that we don't know? Why did it become mutated after the atomic bomb? What did it do to these creatures? How did it change their DNA, right? That's what we're interested in. And like, yeah, we're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna tell you about it. And
Yeah,
plus, there's no money in it, right? So everything revolves around money, right? You're not gonna pay me. I'm not
yeah.
gonna look. I'm not gonna help you. So there you go.
That's why even before you enter your house, they believe you're supposed to take the sea salt and kind of throw it over your shoulders, and Irene said legs too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you have to
Has to be
protect
sea
yourself
salt,
before.
can't be regular table salt, or
Yeah,
even black or pink salt.
yeah,
Green.
yeah. That'll help
yeah.
too.
The story that I
Mm.
never knew about was the story of the Tep Dance Man that happened after one of the bombs were dropped. The guy, they said, was sounded like he was wearing taps on his
Shows.
shoes, or probably shoes. It wasn't
Mm.
taps. His feet were blown off, and he was walking on his leg where the bone was touching the street. The sound of it made what sounds like taps on shoes on the ground.
Oh,
Ooh, sorry, no thanks. Yikes.
no, no, I'm good.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. We don't need to go there, right?
No, no, I've not eaten today yet, so
No, no, no.
What is a fun fact, though, about some of the temples here is they think that aliens might have
Yeah,
actually built them. Just like the pyramids, there's some
yeah.
temples here
yeah.
they think aliens built.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And the samurai sword, they think actually aliens taught them how to make that.
Mm-hmm.
the technology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's folded steel, isn't it? It's not just cut, cast, and cut. It's folded like what 400, 500 times. Some of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And the people who make it all wear white. White is a sign of purity. Okay,
yeah,
so when you're born, you wear white. When you die, you wear white.
yeah,
Also, so yeah, it's just one of those things, and it's a very cherished ritual to make a sword. So yeah,
yeah. Well,
and
speaking of,
the shrine that I go to is on a mountain, so it
Yeah.
looks like a step pyramid.
Irene's ancestors helped build one, and they think aliens helped build that.
Yeah, and it's built
mm,
on a huge mountain. And how do you get these huge lumber logs up the mountain? Right,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
they just don't know. And if you ask questions, they're not going to tell you, right?
no. So, do you know of any people? I know it's really difficult over there that have had alien encounters where they've actually seen extraterrestrials.
We have heard from
This
someone
group
that
that I've
there is supposed to be a alien human hybrid in Japan is one of them where they're supposed to be.
Oh,
mhm,
Not
apparently
they're not
there's
the
a
government. It's probably one of those government secrets that they're going to keep here if that is a
yeah,
thing here. Someone said
yeah,
that it is,
hmm
but obviously the
yeah,
government's not going to let us know. It's one of those things
no,
where which temple was it, Irene? I know your family built one with aliens. What's that one called?
uh, Kamakura Hachiban Jingu. It's it's an old temple, and it's you have to be a member in order to go in there. So yeah,
yeah,
everybody can view it. It's one of the most hottest uh what is it, tourist attractions, but when you go in there it's a little bit different.
yeah,
Yeah, and they have Yabasame where they have the samurai warriors on horseback shooting an arrow at a dart. So they have that there too. They have that celebration in September. So then they have the shrines coming out in September also. So there's a lot of things and what Shinto shrines are a little bit different than Buddhist temple. You're Buddhist when you die, um, but you're Shinto when you're born. Um, Shinto shrines usually are a little bit different. They're usually made for the upper class royalty family.
Right.
Because long time ago they said the the alien had a lady and a guy who loved each other, and they told the people to build the shrine, and they built it on the mountain. They told them where to build the shrine on the mountain, and they fell in love, and that's how the religion came about. But yeah, it's a really hard, it's a really guarded religion, and not everyone can be a member. Not everyone can be part of that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shinto religion. So yeah,
Mm.
very few people are members, and if your family was a samurai, a high level samurai, or shogun, or belong to shogun family, you can join. That's the kind of place they have. Buddhist temples too, where a lot of old samurai warriors were buried too, and that's also crazy haunted too.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Wow.
like almost everything's haunted in Japan, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you you want to see anything that creeps and crawls and walks and dark and whatever color? Yeah, you come to Japan, you'll find, and you don't have to go far to find it either, because you can walk out your front door and it's haunted, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, was Amanda's place? Yeah, you go out your front door. She could show you. That's haunted. That's that.
Really.
Yeah,
Anyways, guys, we're gonna end this for now.
yeah,
Andy, you're invited back for a part 2. So this
Thank
way,
yeah,
you.
anyone out there who has questions they still want to ask or think of questions later, we'll have Andy join us for a part 2 sometime, and we can
yeah,
discuss this
Yeah.
more. More in depth with some of these urban legends.
yeah,
'Cause there's so many of them here. So
yeah. There's so much to talk about, so little time, right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But
You could
Andy,
have all the time.
thank you so much for joining us this time. Like I said, hopefully you come back for like a part 2.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you
everyone
Thank you.
else,
for having me.
thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.